support us to our Wednesday night show. And it's always a pleasure to sit in the company of no other than,
Give me a minute to launch. No, go ahead. Talk a
yes, sir.
little more. Just give me a
Yes,
minute to
sir.
launch.
Uh, Sit in the company of Mr. Leonard Brackett, the chairman for the Friday night show. And joining us soon will be Mr. Gregory Brackett. He's the Monday night chairman. But tonight, we have a good lineup for you guys. And as for me, I'm always about people and nation and things that is happening in this country, things that we are living, and what we are going through, good times and bad times. But we are not afraid to call a spade a spade. We are not here to highlight any political party. We are not here to show favoritism to any political party. We are in line with none in terms of what we speak about. Like I say again, we call out the ills that our Belizean people are facing. But like I say, we always start our program with a prayer and then a reading. And I go to Mr. Leonard Brackett to give us a prayer and then into the reading. Go ahead there, my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to sit with you again tonight and hopefully impart some knowledge and or have a debate or discussion on some issues that ails our country and its people. Thank you for letting me participate along with you and offering the prayer and thereafter also the scripture reading. I'll go ahead and bow my head for a minute. Divine loving Father, Lord God and Creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, into thy hands we commend ourselves, our families and friends, our country of Belize, its people and its leadership, this country of the United States, its people and its leadership, and the rest of humanity, especially those people who are in harm's way and have been hurt, sometimes unjustifiably so. Divine loving Father, we pray that thou must bless this program tonight. Give us the words, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the fortitude and courage to speak truth to power if need be, and to impart some knowledge to our countrymen at home and abroad. Please continue to bless our family members wherever they are, who know us them by name and number. Please continue to abide with us, give us health, courage, strength, perseverance, protection, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And at last when thou comest, be merciful unto us and save us in thy kingdom. For Christ's sake we pray this message. Amen. That's the reading, that's
Thank
the
you.
prayer for tonight,
Thank you
Mr.
there,
Chairman.
Leonard. And can you uh, give us a word, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll okay. I'll read Proverbs chapter 29, starting at verse 4. The king, by judgment, establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man fear, that flattereth his neighbor spread a net for his feet. In the transgressions of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sign and sing and rejoice. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regard it not to know it. And that is the end of the reading for tonight, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you. Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
Uh, Leonard, before we actually get into our item, I have always want to remind our people, Leonard, as to where we came from with this two-party system that governs us, and where we at 2024. The things that they have done and the things that they have not done. Because, Leonard, that you know these very same things comes from their own mouth that they say they will do for the Belizean people and for the nation when they are in opposition, right? All the promises, and it's a continuous cycle. You know, this one that is in opposition now, they are dormant. They have not, been visible. They have their own internal problems. A paid opposition, paid by the taxpayers. They are not living up to the things that they should be doing. But I just want to remind our people, that this present administration and past administration, have no love for the Belizean people nor country because of the things that they do. And in the end, they ride off in the sunset, rich, their bank accounts fat, and leave the Belizean people to punish and to pillage, get by. And it's been going on for decades now. So I say this to say that, who is to be blamed, right? Got to blame ourselves. But I have a suggestion. If you want to get out of this fog that you are in and see the light, need to get rid of this two-party system we have here, and try something new. Because you see it happening every time you elect them. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Promise, 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 promise. And they get richer and richer and richer, help their family, friends, and cronies, and forget about the little man, the little common man. So, those who are feeling it, no make we forget the bills and the laws they pass to suit themselves. PUP and UDP, right? I could remember in one day, this administration say, we want one attorney, one auditor general, but this person reached the age of 60. But this is the person we want, but now is 65. The other people, they know that submit their names. We don't want them because they're not there with we. They don't do what we tell them to do. We
Mm-hmm.
don't trust them. So what they did, they passed a law in the house, a bill that they want the retirement age raised from 60 to 65. And in one day they did that for the Auditor General, right? Why I say this? You see the hard time they had to raise the pillage little minimum wage from 3.70 to $5. They have a lot of baby, lot of headache, and this consult this one and consult that one and whole lot of thing before they raise it to a measly $5, right? I could have say at least $10, man. But you see what happened, right? And the man said, the reason why the retirees not getting money yet, and this man mouth he said that because the system is messed up. He said files move around and they pass from this office to that office and some of the files last and this and that and they can't catch up with what's going on with the retirees, so he have to wait, right? So listen to what I'm saying now. You see what they did with the age from 60 to 65, right? In one day. Now, with a stroke of the pen, millions of taxpayers' money was given to Washcraft. In one day, right? One day, they passed law to silence us, put us in fear, to take away our rights, right? With a stroke of the pen, smart got all the contract for providing telephone and internet for the government sector. Who owns smart? That's a question I put to Uno, the people who own smart. And who are the owners of Digi BTL? Who are the owners of BTL? What you say? They move the contract from the owners of BTL and then give it to the owners of Smart. Right? That's right after this man win the election. And not to mention,
Mr.
go ahead,
Chairman,
Leonard.
Mr. Chairman, they moved the contract from the government digit company BTL and give it to themselves smart because they are smart and owners of
Exactly.
smart. I think they are three times too smart. In fact, not two times, three times too smart, smart, smart. To hell with the people that own the original BTL and to hell with the government.
My people, thank you,
Bunch of
Leonard.
rascals.
My
You're welcome,
people,
sir.
this is just to remind you the kind of leaders who elect you. This is just a friendly reminder for those who play deaf and blind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, say this to say they're all one. Before this man, Dean Barrow, gave up, they vote him out. In his last meeting, he says, and I will tell the nation what this man, when he was in opposition and he pint over yonder, he said, I will tell you what this man will do with BTL. He knew, and the man never win yet. But he knew what was going to happen. And Mr. Brisenio proved it to the nation that Dean Barrow wasn't lying. So one time he never lied. Good. With a stroke of the pen, his CEO and the retirees not get money yet. And the teachers and the 10%, they're not getting money. But the CEO, for him, get a hefty raise in salary,
Mhm.
and they raise the telephone bill, internet bill, on a private telephone, just to make his company profit, because he never raised it because that BTL will get the bill. No, he raised it because Smart was going to get the bill. I mean, I know that Smart, like they smart people, I don't see. I stupid, right?
And
But if
Mr.
I
Chair,
so stupid and see these things, my brothers and sisters, what is wrong with you? Huh?
Mr. Chairman, he not only raised the thing, he raised it more than the price what the thing really value at the time, because there was no such price for that contract. He give them $600 telephone for covering telephone expense, for a telephone bill that
My
would have been about
people,
200 to $250 at the most. Where the extra money gone in them pocket, for them
Leonard,
get extra telephones.
my brother, the whole kind of business these people could be conducting in behalf of the people to be whole $600, and some of them must get
Every month, every
$1,000
month, not for
every
the
month.
year, every month, 12 times for the year.
His CEOs, okay?
And
Not
others.
forget the nepotism in his. I'm not talking about the past administration, because you're gonna had a lot of that in there.
Mhm.
Nepotism, right? Because there are the people where no way say no. They will say, what else you want to do for your sir? And how you want to do it, sir? How much you want thief for you? How you want a doctor the books for you? Just tell me. They were carefully picked. I could tell you one in his administration, Miss Garcia. Don't forget where she come from. Not forget, my people. I say this because other people, deserving people, could have gotten that job. Right? Deserving. A lot of them in there is not deserving to be pillaging on the backs of the taxpayers of this country. That's only me that said that, right? That's how I feel. And remember at the top what the man say, that the country broke. Dean Barrow left, the country broke. But as you miss, and he said, I know they buy no new vehicle. This is the way this man is say, right? And to every time a cronies of our ministers, minions and crash, then get a new one the next day. Same thing in the last administration. Farmer run one in at the sea. Whether he was driving it or was not driving it, he was
Responsible for it.
responsible. The next day he get a $90,000. Is it UDP money?
No.
Right? Don't forget these things, and yet, my thing is, yet they can't pay the retirees, yet they can't find the money for the pensioners, yet they can't supply our public hospital with the necessary items that a hospital should have. You see? So I say this to say that he hire his cronies. Although you have a senator get up in the house and he says he don't like where they go on, because say that no money there, but yet I will not hire nobody, but yet They give people contracts. The man say it in the sitting at the Senate. Like that, and an investigation needed. Well, I guess a silent him because that's the only one time he said anything about that, right? Never mention that again, right? They hire their families, close supporters, right? And some of them get permanent contract, right? Some of them get 1 year contract, right? Despite when they say that the government is broke, we see, we have seen, and we are seeing a bogus Senate inquiry, right? A waste of the taxpayers' money, right? Anybody gone to jail for the last inquiry? Anybody get charged? But taxpayers pay for it. The same thing will happen now. I understand Brisenio don't want to go to appear. He said no, he no appear, right? Just another show. And then the end result, just sadly that the taxpayers will foot the bill. We see the no give a damn and the recklessness of past and present government of our resources, taxpayers' money, loans, grants, recklessness, no accountability. We see where their priority is. We are seeing where their priority is. Right. The news, step on the news sometime, where is their priority? We see the unfair action and political mischief, right? When it comes to the distributing of aid to those affected when there is, for instance, COVID, right? Then they give aid, but only some people get it, right? Then they give weekly allowances, but only some people get it. That was in the UDP days. And there were money that was not accounted for, and it was in the news from the lady that was in charge of that. I think she was an ambassador somewhere about, and then a man by the name of Mr. Almandares, right? Those were the two names called that they were going to do an investigation of some of the money. Anything happened about with that? No. They gave people bogus telephone number for call for help to no avail, right? We see when there is a hurricane, like for instance the last time, who get the help? PUP, right? Some non-UDP, a nailing it, right? But yet, these people sit in the house to the nation and the world, and they say they have helped everybody, right? Which is a darn lie, right? But those who did not get the help know that I'm telling the truth. Some people get their house, retrofitted. We never even get affected. Some people get material whenever they need material, they end up to sell it, while the others that needed suffer, right? Belize, rural, right? Some people get affected and did not get a nail because they are UDP supporters. But they say they have helped everybody. Lies. We see how they get, or who get the nice scholarships, and who get the one name for go land for plant, right? Who get the nice one name. Happen in the UDP and the PUP, right? To go study abroad, right? We see who get the loans, the grants, all the perks, that is given to this country. The homes that they say is for all Belizean. The amount of homes they said in the bill for all Belizeans. Who get them? And how much they have built so far. And I say, who gets the government jobs? Who get the government jobs? The ones in that they have, right? We see the people they bring with them when they win an election to govern this nation, past and present. Like I say, they bring their own people, right? Who will cover for them. When they leave, the next government, the next party who or the next government form, they bring their own people too, who will cover for them, right? We see how they do not respect the court of this country, right? We see how the court rules, and we see the irresponse by this government, right? Past and present government has no respect for the court, nor the rule of law, nor the constitution, no respect. The courts and the justice system is not independent, Not independent, no. They are run by the politician and the government that brings them, especially the judges that comes from other countries, to administer law and justice to us in this country where they have no knowledge of. But all of a sudden they have a vast amount of knowledge to administer justice fairly to the Belizean people, right? So I say that should stop. We should find justices of our own Belizean who knows what's going on in this country, who are loyal to this country and people. We have them in this country. But why? The question why? Past and present government don't want to do what is right. They always try to find a way how they could get away with things that they do unfairly to the Belizean people, right? And that's one of the way they get away, because they bring judges from other countries to pass sentencing and they say justice to Belizean people, right?
Good
Welcome,
night, Mr. Chairman.
welcome, Greg. Glad to have you. Want to introduce, please? Go ahead.
Good night, Greg.
Good
Good
night to the
night. Nice
Belizean
to
people
have
at
you.
home and abroad. My name is Gregory Brackett, and I welcome you to this 157th episode of Belizean Affair. I'm also highly appreciative of sitting with my chairman for tonight, Mr. Rood, and my good cousin virtually, Mr. Leonard Brackett. Back to you, Mr.
Welcome, sir.
Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Your presence is highly appreciated. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I'm on the judiciary. And don't forget, our judiciary is compromised. Compromised. We see and live the lies when the PUP and UDP are in opposition. Like I say, the laws in this country does not ap- applies fairly when it comes to the poor and less fortunate in this country. We see it, we live it, and it's worth talking about, and it's worth bringing to the attention of the nation and the world. is not fairly distributed. Because why? The poor and less fortunate cannot fight the powers to be because they don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. So they do unto us, which is, and like I say, they import these judges to render justice for them. Right? So who dare to take these people to task? I call on the Bar Association, get together and bring some of these injustice, bring some of these criminals that have done wrong in this country. And they know it and continue to do and get away with it. Get together and take past and present government officials for the things that they have done. Bring them to justice. That's all I'm saying. Justice, which is lacking in this country, right? Where is UNCAC, Mr. Brisenio? That's one of your that was one of your campaign slogans.
Mm-hmm.
As we get elected, the first 100 days we will enact UNCAC. Think that who forget these things, man? A lot of people does because they're political motivated, right? But where fairness is concerned, right? And this is how you want people to believe you in things that you say that you are going to do, or believe you in the things that venom out of your mouth to the nation and the world, right? Where is UNCAC? How many 100 days has gone, Mr. Man? Or maybe you passed UNCAC in Guatemala. I don't know, but not in Belize, that you, as you had rightly promised, right? Where is UNCAC? Where is the making of lives better for all Belizean? And the
All
slogan
of
was
us.
everybody for win. You can't big for not everybody. Or you don't know the meaning of the word everybody. Well, it could be that you miss the word everybody from your party.
Mm-hmm.
You miss the word your PUP party. And still,
Mm-hmm.
you still come short. Because people out there, one party right now, the ball, right? So, Mr. Man, wheel and come again. You're a lying man. And you have your minions cover up for you. None of them have the balls, the guts to stand up in the house and tell you, Mr. Man, Mr. Prime Minister, you are lying. Tell the truth. But no, they encourage you to tell more lies because they fall right behind you, right? And we could bring up some of the lies that you had tell in the house, but we're not going there. So, my people, stop supporting evil, right? We need a new system, right? This two-party system will not take us right. At some point in time, soon to come, one lot of we and put we hand on we head and ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
I decide, and we decide on this medium for some time now, no, right? It's coming. My next thing is, the we are living in a police state, man. That is my humble opinion, no? Based on the things that I have seen happen. Police state and an authoritarian state. Leading up to have Belize, well, you see this constitution reform? This one shocked a lot away, as these people are leading up to take us to a republic, Belize, whether it's going to be good or bad. But that's their intention, in my view, based on what they are doing, right? So, my people, be informed, right? Poverty in this country, an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Ramen is at $1.50 now, right? $1.50. So sad. And that's the basic stable food for poor people, Leonard and Greg, That's the basic. That's all they can afford, so sad. It's $1.50
So you gone from
from
25
55
cents to
cents or
50
some, yeah,
cents
right?
to 75 to dollar 25, $1.50 now.
No justice. No justice in this country for the poor. And they keep us in poverty because
Bread gone up too.
bread and bread went up to $2.25 now.
Sugar
So what
gone up.
happened to the laws that they passed, guys? That bread should have been stable to $2 or 1.75. Where is that? But yet that man Mai says, oh, they're cracking down on price gouging. I don't know what he meant by that, no?
He
I
knows
don't
where
know.
his next bill is coming from, Mr. Chairman, but a lot of people out there don't know.
Yes. So
And he could
sad.
care less, apparently.
And guys, we have been talking about these things, man, regularly, right? We need to hold these people accountable, man. We need to. Where is the opposition? The same way they could load up people from the nick and crannies in buses and just jumping in a red shirt to go support one of the conventions or cars. Why don't load up these people and so we have a massive demonstration against these evil? But why they don't do it? They're right in line with, they have the same mentality or maybe worse than the PUP. What is their agenda? What is the opposition agenda? Is it just about power and the little money they are getting? Is it not shouldn't be about the people and nation and the welfare and calling out the ills? That's what an opposition should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not be worrying about what P. Diddy is pulling down and pulling off and backing up and forward. Right? Shouldn't be worrying about what P. Diddy is doing. Mr. Shine Barrow, leader of the UDP and leader of the opposition. Man, we'll again and come back, right? Because only some people like what you do. Only some, right? Only some Belizean. I talk truth, right? We have been living in a corrupted two-party system. And my word, corrupted. When the rule of law do not apply to the politician, the rich and powerful. Do not apply, right? Look on healthcare. We beat this over 2 years now, 3 years. The shortage of basic medicine. The shortage of specialty treatment that poor people need and have to go give their house a lot to medical associate to get specialty treatment. Go ahead,
Shortage
Leonard.
of, shortage of Tylenol, shortage of tape, shortage of swabs, basic stuff that they have to reuse the dirty one and give the people in, or tell the people in family buy and bring to go on so that they could have it to use.
Chew on that.
Crazy.
Greg had brought that forward, the attention to the public, the nation, and the world, right? Brought that to the attention.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the lie. But this matter is so dear to me because, only poor people, guys, use the public hospitals here, Only the poor people because the taxpayers pay for these minions to go out of this country, go seek medical attention on the backs of the taxpayers. They don't need to visit Carl Hushner. You see the baby that they had between the Mr. Bernard and the health minister and the prime minister in terms of the CT scan. We played it. Gregory brought it up. We talk about it. Right? We showed it. And in the end, they play that out, in my view, they play that out all for somebody to profit. Someone of their minions, of friends, cronies to profit, man, of healthcare, man. You know, do them kind of thing, man. You know, one spell you hear how much money it costs per one sitting, then the next sitting you hear one X amount it costs, then the Bernard guy say, oh, this are the way it costs. Sad to see, and on the end result, when the CT scan machine, the one and only CT scan machine, arrive in this country, a good doctor came publicly and says, you know, it's not the best, and it's not going to good for multi-purpose, right? So they have fooled the people all along, and at what cost, right? Sad. And let us not forget COVID, you know, when up to incubators were donated to this country. I wonder, where are these equipment? I wonder if they revisit all the equipment that was donated during COVID. They shouldn't have had room left in the KHMH. But where are these equipment and supplies? That's the million-dollar question. And you hear Mr. Briceño, the $96 million state-of-the-art hospital, where it's at? Groundbreaking, where it's at? To be started immediately, where it's at? Well, anyway, I will say no more. I had a lot more, but I say time is running, and I want to discuss tonight about the diaspora, voting rights, and the constitution of this country when it comes to who should represent and who should not represent, and the people that burn in other countries, countries that do not respect the independence and sovereignty of Belize. They should not be able to participate in the electoral processing of this country. But with this and past government, we see contrary. We see burn Guatemalan. Burn Guatemalan. In our governing system, you know, when our constitution clearly stated they should not be allowed. Leonard, you want to, you know,
I'm looking for the
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead, go ahead, Greg. Go
well
ahead, Greg.
said, well said. And as I said on Monday, sir, there's an attack on our constitution, and I guess our Monday night show is well air, and who have ears, let them listen. I'm saying this to say to the public at home and abroad that it is not something that I was saying just to say, because I knew what was happening. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to play something so the public can hear.
And you've heard from the Minister of Home Affairs about the new amendment to the Criminal Code, which will see the criminalization of the unauthorized publication, dissemination, or disclosure of statements, documents, video footage, photographs, or other materials that form part of an ongoing criminal investigation. It could act as a fetter on freedom of the press, and Minister Francis Fonseca said it was an issue he brought up in Cabinet. However, he added that the media will have the chance to voice their concerns.
I think, it came obviously from the Ministry of Home Affairs. The minister, I think, is obviously best placed to respond to that question. But I know we had a discussion about it in Cabinet. I raised the issue of the press, freedom of the press, and what impact it would have on the press. And the minister assured me that that he felt comfortable that it would not, and that certainly that there would be an opportunity if any issues arose in terms of concerns from the press that he would make an effort to address those issues. So, I'm comfortable with that at this point. But I think it's legitimate for the press to be concerned about that issue. I think it's justified because your job is to ensure that there is an accountability, transparency. You want as much information as possible, and that's good for our democracy. So I support that, but at the same time, as I said, I think the minister means well, the ministry means well, and I think if there are any legitimate concerns that you have, the minister will address them in good faith.
Mr. Chairman,
The
let's hear
Constitution
from
is
the
good faith enough
opposition
for us.
before you continue. Let's
Go
hear
ahead.
from the opposition.
And I think if there are any legitimate concerns that you have, the minister will address them in good faith.
And the UDP is rejecting the amendment to the criminal code. In a press release today, they called it, quote, the latest attempt by the insecure, immature, and thin-skinned PUP government to infringe upon Belizeans' right to freedom of speech, end quote. They continue by saying that with citizen security at an all-time low, Belizeans have a right and a need to be aware of crime trends, and that the surveillance footage of robberies and shootings heighten the awareness of residents. The press release says, quote, criminalizing such publications serves only to satisfy a failed government's desire to pretend bullets are not flying and businesses are not being robbed on a daily basis all across the country. Burying their heads in the sand and pretending that crime is under control is a luxury only the cabinet can enjoy. The United Democratic Party is disappointed but not surprised by this attempt by the PUP to...
There you go, Mr. Chairman. We mentioned it first on Monday night. As I have said, they are attacking the Constitution when they are caught. In fact, it proves they are not doing what they should do externally and internally. Back to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg, for that footage. Real. Like you say, they always tell on themselves. Go ahead there, Leonard.
Uh, um, I wanted to read that stuff and I was searching for it. No, I think
Yes, yes, yes. But
um, just give me
the
give me another
rights.
second or two.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Greg. You want to
You have another
continue on
comment,
something?
Greg?
Go ahead, Greg.
I
They
also
continue to
wanted to
yeah,
bring
they
up,
continue to tell on themselves, Greg.
yes, I also wanted to bring up that there's a part of government in California from the immigration department who I understand from their publication was going there to help Belizeans with passports, only to find out tonight on the news that they are over there issuing land to Belizeans that want a piece of land.
So
Now
they can't even go to
imagine,
Belizean at home.
but it was never mentioned, sir. And you know what I find very ludicrous? You want to issue land to Belizean people living abroad. I do not have a problem with that because, firstly, I think all Belizeans should own a piece of land. My problem I have with it is you are doing this, but yet you do not want to fix the seventh amendment that will give these people the right to come home and vote and take part in referendum. Back to you, sir.
Greg, on that specific
Yes,
point, Mr. Chairman, can I elaborate quickly on that
Go
specific
ahead,
point?
go ahead,
On that specific point
Leonard.
about Belizeans abroad being conned by the present government to try and pretend that they're trying to do us a favor to the Belizeans abroad is a sleight of hand, because what they attempted to do by trying to deny Belizeans abroad their right under the Constitution of Belize to have all privileges equal to any other Belizeans, either at home or abroad, to be able to exercise those rights. What the government has done was to try and deny them or try to fabricate a law which was supposed to be unconstitutional at that, to deny them of that right. And so far, they have written the law in the books, but those laws are unconstitutional. They cannot violate the Constitution. They cannot trump the Constitution. And once you're a Belizean, no care what part of the world you are a Belizean. Only you can give up your Belizean citizenship or your rights. Only you can transgress any laws and lose your rights, whether you're at home or abroad. The government have no such authority vested in it, because they did not go and create a plebiscite to ask the rest of Belizeans if they wanted the government to change who is a Belizean and what rights Belizeans can exercise. That's defined already in our Constitution. So for them to pretend that they made a change to those laws is a form of bastardization of the Constitution, and pretend to have created a law that has no legal foundation or has no constitutionality to it. So when people are fighting and fussing over this 7th Amendment, as far as I'm concerned, the 7th Amendment is mute. They're trying to use it as a weapon against Belizeans who go abroad, but it does not have the validity and the effect of law according to the Constitution. So some people believe that it does, and as a result, it instills fear in them because the legislator passed the law to deny them that right. The legislator have no power to deny them that right according to the Constitution. Even if all 31 legislators get together and make that law to deny Belizeans their right, it is unconstitutional. So I wouldn't waste my time trying to haggle with these guys and trying to beg them to do no favor to us to pass the 7th Amendment, because the 7th Amendment is what the 7th Amendment was supposed to have been the remedy for the wrongs that they attempted to do. But that wrong that they attempted to do is still unconstitutional and is null and void. It's invalid. So there's no need to waste time haggling with them about going ahead and passing the 7th Amendment to give back to us what they try to take away, because they have not taken it away. They have not gotten to the point where the Constitution allows them to take it away, so it was never ever taken away. It's a pretend law, and it's supposed to be ruled null and void. But I want to go back to the point that you asked me to read about, Mr. Chairman, and we will deal with that point of the unconstitutionality of the effort for the 7th Amendment. I just wanted us to weigh in there on that particular point. I didn't want to let it get away because it was very critical and important. But
Mr. Brackett,
yes,
if
sir.
I may, just to piggyback
Go
on what
ahead.
you said.
Go ahead, Greg.
Now, how obnoxious is it for them to want to call the names of Belizeans who are awarded when they take part in games abroad or in movie scenes, but yet don't want to recognize them through their grandparents and parents. Now imagine, back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll read from the Belize Constitution, Cap 4, Section 24, which deals with persons born in Belize on or after Independence Day. Every person born in Belize on or after the 21st day of September 1981 shall become a citizen of Belize at the date of his birth, provided that a person shall not become a citizen of Belize by virtue of this section if at the time of his birth neither of his parents is a citizen of Belize and his father or mother passes such immunity from suit and legal processes as is accorded to envoys or diplomats of a foreign sovereign power accredited to Belize, or, paragraph B, his father or mother is a citizen of a country with which Belize is at war and the birth occurs in a place then under occupation by that country. So no Guatemalan should be given no citizenship to Belize. No Guatemalan should be allowed to sit in the assembly of Belize while you're trying to stop born Belizeans from exercising that right constitutionally protected. Mind you, it's not given to us by the Constitution, you know. The Constitution affirms what you are born with, which is your inalienable right, a God-given prerogative that only you as a person can make or carry out an action to deprive yourself of on a purview that is yours and not that of the legislator. No part of our Constitution allows the legislator to make any such law as they attempted to do in the past and have been holding over our heads as being constitutionally valid. Because the Constitution defines who is a Belizean. Belizeans born in Belize prior to 1981 are Belizeans. Belizeans born after 1921 and after 1981, 21st of September, are all Belizeans. And all Belizeans are equal under the law, as per Section 6. So we put all these bits and pieces together, and we see that these guys are denying or trying to deny born Belizeans of their constitutional and God-given rights, while they are fostering and providing these rights for people that have no affinity or connection to Belize, other than because the Constitution says that they, the legislator, is empowered with the power to decide who they can give citizenship to. The Constitution is not talking about them giving citizenship to born Belizean, because by having been born in Belize, whether before or after independence, that's your God-given prerogative. You're born a Belizean. When the Constitution is speaking about the legislator giving citizenship or any authority to live in Belize by other people, it's referring to people who are not born in Belize, others. The legislator may make laws to determine how those people get to qualify to gain citizenship of Belize. But that is not to be conflated with the idea that the legislator may have powers to make laws to deny any Belizeans their God-given birthright That's like bastardization of the Constitution and standing the Constitution on its head, especially if the same individuals or government officials are going to be advocating to give non-born Belizeans those rights while denying those rights to the very born Belizeans. That's part of the agenda that they talk about when they say they want us to have a new identity. They are fostering a new identity on the country. You're born Belizean, you still don't have a Belizean identity according to them, unless they grant it to you. And if they grant it to you, they can take it away from you. But and then it speaks specifically to Guatemala, who is claiming our country as. Let me read that specific part here. Under the same section 24, paragraph B. His father or mother is a citizen of a country with which Belize is at war, and the birth occurs in a place then under occupation by that country. If somebody is born in Guatemala, whether before the Independence Day or after the Independence Day, the government shall not provide them with no citizenship or any other legal means. That's a bastardization of the Constitution for any government to attempt to do that. That's treachery at the highest level.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Thank you
Mr.
there,
Chairman. I'll review it for right now.
Leonard.
I'll come back
You know,
to the other point.
Greg, you talked about, you see there again the trickery and the lies, right? What they said they were going to go do, Greg, you said abroad, you know, to um to assist in the processing of passport and thing. That's what they traveled abroad for. That's the message they were taking. When in fact they're over there, you know, offering land to Belizean, which is so deserving, you know, Greg. We are not saying that, you know, they're doing something wrong, but why lie? Right? Right, Greg? Why lie? Right? That's my thing. Right? But again, you know, I blame the diaspora to encourage these people. Leonard just read, you know, that, you know, the bastardization of our constitution in terms of refusing us. This is not about, you know, we are not talking about people from Guatemala or other coming in and there is due process and thing. But we're talking about they should not be allowed to participate in our governing body. Like, for instance, put their name up as a candidate for election. That is exactly what we are talking about here, right? They should not be doing that. But past government have them, UDP have them, PUP have them. But yet, Greg, they go with their hands to the diaspora. As for me, I had a born Belizean, you know, by birth. I just happen to be naturalized American. Naturalized.
I'll speak to that next, Mr. Chairman, just as soon as you finish.
And they do not want me to participate in a big election. I could only do a local election. That is what they're saying. What afraid for, man? With a born Belizean man. Right? What good for the goose is good for the gander. Nothing says in the Constitution that they should deny us. They said in the Constitution who they should deny. But those are the people that they embrace. Those are the people that they are embracing to make laws on us. Those are the people that they are embracing to oversee the affairs of our country.
There are, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Leonard.
our
Go ahead.
government officials are operating as if they are captured agents on behalf of foreign interests.
Right.
Okay? And I'll read this next quote from you.
Guatemalans coming over to Belize
Quickly.
and they go through the right process, they could become Belizean. Just like you could become.
People who
Right,
can
there's a
become registered
process.
in Belize by registration
There you go.
under Section 26, subsection 1. The following persons may, upon making application at any time after the 21st date of September 1981, be registered as citizens of Belize. First category under A, paragraph A, any person who is married to a citizen of Belize, whether it's a man or a woman. Paragraph B, any person who has been resident continuously in Belize for a period of 5 years immediately before the date of his application. Subsection 2 of the same Section 26 reads as follows. The National Assembly shall prescribe by law the procedure for making and determining applications and the conditions to be fulfilled by persons making applications for registration under this section. That does not apply to born Belizean, because as a born Belizean, you're entitled to all the rights of any and all Belizeans, equal under the law. Subsection 3 reads as follows. A person registered as a citizen of Belize under this section shall become a citizen of Belize on the date on which he is so registered. That is, a person who applies for citizenship. They're talking about foreigners, people who are not born Belizeans, either born in Belize before the Independence Day or born in Belize after the Independence Day. Those people are exempt from any of these nonsense that they're talking about here, that the legislator have authority to act on. But they don't have any authority to act on anybody that is a born Belizean, because as a Belizean, as a born Belizean, you're a member of a sovereign state and you're a sovereign citizen. That's what our independence declared for us. These jackals come making stupid bogus laws on the side.
Go ahead, Greg.
Pretending that they're being helpful.
Go ahead, Greg.
Piece here, if you don't mind, I'm going to.
Go ahead. Yeah, finish up.
Subsection 3 reads as follows. A person registered as a
Mr.
citizen of
Chairman,
Belize under the section shall become a citizen of Belize on the date on which
I think
he is,
Mr. Brackett is
and that's it.
still.
Go ahead, Greg. I yield back.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Brackett, there is one you are forgetting. And we're not even talking about born Belizean. There's one that the people, some would not even know exists. That an individual from the Commonwealth come and reside in Belize, they can vote in our election.
Right.
You don't hear nobody speak about that. I wonder who all knows about that.
Yeah. So true on that, Greg. Go ahead, Greg.
I think I kind of surprised you guys too on that. But I'm saying that to say that.
Not quite. I was about to read it for you out of the thing. I'm just break to let somebody else have a chance to expound, no? I was going to
go ahead and read it, sir. Please.
Go ahead, Leonard.
You can hear it.
Okay. A citizen of Belize by birth or descent who acquires the citizenship of any other country may, says may, he not shall or he have to or he's automatically, he may at his own choice, his own volition. Not the government may or shall, not any other person may or shall on the person's behalf. The person may
Hmm.
A citizen of Belize by birth as a sovereign citizen or descent who acquires the citizenship of any other country may, if the laws of the other countries, such as the United States, who have agreement with Belize to accept Belizean citizenship and American citizenship as dual citizenship, vice versa, or between among themselves. As an American, you don't give up your American citizenship in order to acquire Belizean citizenship. As a Belizean, you don't give up your Belizean citizenship in order to acquire American citizenship. It is classified under the category of the treaty as a dual citizen. You don't lose any of your privileges or rights because you adopt or accept one or the other. As far as the laws under international law is concerned, as a matter of fact, because it's a treaty,
Truth
it's
on
all
that.
one and the same.
Truth on that.
The Constitution rules supreme, which is
Truth
why
on
it
that.
says it's the supreme law of the land. That was section 27. I'll read section 28. The National Assembly may make provisions not inconsistent with this part. In other words, they can make laws and provisions to do certain things, right? But not inconsistent with the established and existing laws. In other words, they can't make laws outside of the boundaries of the Constitution. Any such action is unconstitutional, null,
Null
and
and
void,
void.
according to the Constitution of Belize, Part 1, Section 2, Part Section 2, Subsection 1, which is the supreme law of the land. I'll go on ahead and read 28. The National Assembly may make provisions not inconsistent with this part of the Constitution of Belize, Part 28, in respect of citizenship, including provisions for, they may make provisions for, if they are not violating the existing
The
Constitution,
existing constitution.
okay, they can make additional provisions to expand and to incorporate. In other words, you can expand and enhance the Constitution, and you are within the legal limits to do that if you're working within the bounds of the Constitution. But you're not entitled to make laws that violate the Constitution and goes outside the bounds of the Constitution to derogate from the Constitution. They have their limitations. But these guys want to operate without any limitations, without any constitutional constraints, and just whatever comes out of their head, as in the case of these bogus fools that they are making this next new law that they just talked about the other day, that they discussed in cabinet, and they are proposing it and wanting to make it into law. It's all a violation of the Constitution and people's constitutional rights, your inalienable rights. But they want to say, oh, because, well, the minister offered that when they make the law, it will not take away certain people's rights. Don't make the laws that are taking away other people's rights. Because everybody is equal under the law. You can't divide and conquer the people and take away some people's rights and enhance other people's rights. Every law that you make has to stand constitutional scrutiny, and those laws must be equal to each and every person. I need to have a discussion with Mr. Musa.
Okay, Leonard.
Mr.
I'll
Brackett,
pass
if I
over
may,
to Gregory for
Yes,
five
sir.
minutes, Greg, because time
Go ahead.
is running down. So go another round. Take your
thanks,
5 minutes
Mr.
there, Greg.
Chairman. Mr. Brackett,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brackett, you know we have went over this on many
Many,
occasions,
many times. Yes, sir.
and when they make those informal laws, as we have spoken about, they go to court and they lose
All the
because
time.
the Constitution prevails, and it keeps happening to them over and over
Uh,
and over
Greg, the tape that you played,
again.
the
You
tape that you
know,
played, sir, with Mr. Musa and Mr. Fonseca, trying to enlighten the public with this dastard conduct of theirs as if it was permitted under the law. A few times before, I have pointed out where Mr. Musa himself knows that he is wrong because he tried to point out to Mr. Barrow, when Mr. Barrow was the Prime Minister, how wrong Mr. Barrow was in trying to do the very same thing he is now trying to advocate as being all right for him to do now that he is part of the government. It is
Finish
still
up.
wrong regardless of whether you're a
Yeah.
government or not.
Finish up
The
with your five
Constitution is the
minutes
same
there,
one
Greg, and then
Constitution.
Leonard, I'll pass it over to you.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead,
Bring it back.
Greg.
Thanks. It is healthy topic and healthy conversation when we can input even though there is a 5 minutes. I welcome, I welcome, or back and forth as what my cousin is saying. Because
Good.
I'm saying
Very
this to
healthy.
say that they know when they are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
As you started tonight with the Minister of Education, also Foreign Minister, he said he mentioned it in the House, and he specifically, if I'm listening right, he is not with amending no law to take away the rights from the people and from no news media.
Mr. Chairman and
Yeah,
Gregory.
but then
So
again, he
I
agree with his
think
Mr.
comrade
when
too,
Chairman,
information needs to
Greg.
be
Yeah,
careful,
Mr. Chairman
yeah,
and Gregory.
yeah. Go ahead, Leonard.
I don't
A
think he
quick,
agrees.
No,
Greg.
okay.
Um, these two gentlemen are playing good cop, bad cop. They are both smart enough and knowledgeable enough on this particular subject matter, to the point, as I said earlier, where one of them got up in the House and was lecturing the former Prime Minister on the very same topic. So they are not ignorant about what is it that they're saying or attempting to do. They're trying to bamboozle the public into accepting what they're saying as having credibility or credence. Okay? But so long as they keep making these unconstitutional laws, all they're doing is chancing the people with these things, because the people that get affected or get crossed with these laws will not have the money to take the matter through the courts
Exactly.
and to fight them at every step of the way. And at some point, they expect to prevail
But
because they have the
but
deep
Mr.
pocket
Brackett,
of the government that
Well,
they can dip into
go
and
ahead,
hire
Greg.
lawyers to go through this process.
M-
In fact, they have lawyers on
Hold on,
staff.
Leonard. Let
Mr. Brackett,
Go ahead, sir.
what happened to the so-called AG? He's the one who should be advising these people on the laws that they can make or not make. That is why we have
All
Attorney
three of them are
General.
lawyers. The
Come on.
AG is a lawyer. Mr. Musa is a lawyer. Mr. Fonseca is also a lawyer. Okay?
so sad, man.
And they're all falling down on their faces in not recognizing and dealing with the matter on behalf of the public in good faith. Mr. Fonseca is saying
Exactly.
that the Minister of Home Affairs is going to have good faith towards the public because he's promising that these laws won't affect nobody. Don't put the damn thing on the book in the first place then, because once they're on the book, whoever they get affected to, once the law is there, the law is the law. Not to say the least that that bogus law, the Constitution have already stipulated anything that's contrary to the Constitution itself,
So
other laws that the
yes.
legislator
So,
make, are
so
null and void.
mhm. So Greg, in 3 minutes, what would your message be
That
to
is
the
correct.
diaspora? In 3 minutes, Greg, I give you 3 more minutes again. What would you say to the diaspora?
Mr. Mr. Chairman,
Stop getting played for
I
suckers.
would not speak to the people in the diaspora because
Right.
they are well informed through media. I think they know the game that is being played, but I would say this, with the election coming in 2025, why would I put my trust in any party who is presenting land to me? I would not do that because we know what happened with the past government when people were issued land and they had put their finance in it. What happened when the new government came in? They lost all their money. So to me, I believe
No,
it's a
Greg,
shame,
there were
and
some
I
people
think it's
who had
a
filled up their lots.
political blunder.
Greg, there were some people who had filled up their lots. Others had already driven piles into the ground.
Yes.
Some had already built their foundations,
Hmm.
and other people in the party ended up taking over those people's property. Why? They weren't at home on the spot to deal with matters expeditiously. So it's all a scam game to hustle people's pockets under a false pretext because they already have their. You see how big the plans that these guys have and how many plans they have for, for so many acres of land along the Western Highway that they're now cutting up and pretending to be trying to get the Belizeans abroad to buy into. It's another economic hit. You want to take your retirement money, buy these lands. There's no water, light, or sewage. There's no development being done adequately, and your money gonna get stalled. Your effort gonna get stalled. There's no roads. There's no street. There's no infrastructure. Who's gonna put those things in? But there was another point that I wanted to bring up. Who are the people that are actually voicing these concerns,
Mr. Brackett,
advocating these things on behalf of the public? Where are the people who are supposed to be doing this kind of work on behalf of our general population? We are the ones that these idiots are trying to
Mr.
target when
Brackett,
they talk
if I
racist
may,
about media.
let me go back.
Go ahead, go ahead. I yield.
Let me go back for a bit. Let's not forget that our good Prime Minister mentioned that in the news that he will find a way for people in the diaspora who want to build and get land so they are not scammed. Do you
He are,
recall that?
I remember
he
that.
offer he
I
So
offered to
we
provide
remember.
see
them some
now,
contractors,
He even offered
vetted
so now it's
vetted
out of
contractors.
the
to have
mouth.
contractors to build their
So you
homes
see
for them.
what I'm saying has
It's
merits,
out
right? You
of
see,
the
I'm not
bag
talking
now, right?
off the top of my head, right? It's all an agenda with these guys to sucker people. They talk a good talk, but the real work that needs to be worked, which is for them to put Uncock in place so we could get a few of their butts in jail, they don't have no time to worry about that or deal with that. It's all about the big hustle. And when we tell them that,
Mr.
they want to turn around and say,
Mr.
we can't
Chairman,
broadcast libelous
Go ahead,
statements.
Greg.
Mr. Chairman,
Bible nobody with the truth.
let me expose one, sir. Let me expose one quickly.
Go ahead,
Okay,
sir.
listen to this.
Photos that you have seen, yes, it will depict that it is something critical that has occurred on the coastal highway, but I believe photos that you have seen, yes, it will depict that it is something critical that has occurred on the coastal highway, but I believe as individuals and as a country, we need to look at the project holistically because the entire project is 36 miles.
Look at
Mr.
it what
Chairman, you heard
politically.
that? Listen to
Look
this
at it.
one. Listen to
What I
this
found out
one,
this
sir.
morning was
Listen
that
to this one.
there are land clearing that are being done upstream of the Soldier Creek itself, whereby logging is occurring. And of course, we had the forest fires that we had in the last 2 months within that area.
Bull crap.
It's
Flash,
sticking,
flash
sir, but let
flooding.
me tell you what it is. A road was built in the Barrel Boom area, and it was not done by Millie, and it is washed out. So now they are saying they never oversee it when it was done, but it was taxpayers' money. So now they want to go back and oversee it. Now imagine.
You have
Greg,
Huh?
2 minutes. Two
Greg,
minutes, Greg.
Go ahead,
Mr.
sir.
Engineer,
Leonard.
Mr. Chairman,
Then I'll take five. Then the last 5 minutes.
before I say what I was about to say, we'll just need to add a few more minutes to the program tonight if need be, okay? So let's not constrain ourselves with the exact timing because this issue is a critical issue and the peace that we're dealing with right now, or going to go into right now, is also critical in terms of timeliness and the kind of weather and things that's, because what we saw happen already is just the beginning of coming attractions. A hell of a lot worse is going to happen within the
Truth
next
on
few
that.
months as the rainy season and the hurricane season and everything else start coming down, because it's going to be worse than before. We have never seen what is about to happen, especially first and foremost because of all the vegetation that's been cut down and burnt out along the roadside for the whole distance of this coastal road. Everybody is land grabbing. Everybody is taking out big chunks of lands. Ministers and their families and friends, and everybody wants the roadside. So the other people who wants a piece of the pie are being given lands behind the forest commerce or the power brokers, and they are buying up lands so that they can sell to foreign investors. Okay, big chunks of it. The outcome is that there's a lot of vegetation that's been cut out from those areas, and a lot of forestry, a lot of the land is being made barren, and that is part of what's contributing to these flash floods. Long before now, when that land was undisturbed, the water used to just find its natural path through the gullies, But now that they build a road that cuts across all those things, it blocks the water on one side. And then the idiots went and built a road with sand, which the water percolates through the sand. The water that's trapped behind there now with these massive floods is pushing against the road, percolating into the road and under the road, and undermining and washing away the bed. They did not build the road up, especially in the sections that were raised across the gullies them, and some of them where they put in bridges or culverts. The size of the culverts were not enough for the amount of flash flood, because they have never had that level of flash flood before in the past, when the place wasn't cut out, the vegetation wasn't cut out. So they did not did their correct
Mr.
calculation in
Brackett,
terms of the water flow for those
Mr.
areas.
Brackett, if I may, to piggyback on that,
Go ahead.
I don't think this good gentleman went to Sunday school, because if they did, they would have known from way
Uh,
back about that. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the wise
there you
man built
go.
his house upon the rock.
Exactly.
The rain
Typically,
came
that's exactly
tumbling
what the
down,
scenario is.
and you know what happened.
Yep. But besides that
Yeah,
too,
finish up,
there's
Leonard.
another
Go ahead.
technical issue, right?
Huh?
Another technical issue, besides what I brought up earlier. The finished road that they built, some of it had retaining walls. When you climb up towards the higher bridges then, some of it have retaining walls. But those retaining walls weren't built in such a way as to create a wide enough flange that could collect the water that comes to those bridges or those big culverts. They made short flanges, and the water pressed against the short flanges and tap over the culverts. The ones that have the big bridge, uh, the amount of material that they put to raise to the height of the bridge from the original level, when they finished the construction, the finished surface was not a solid enough surface. It was just as their chief engineer, I forget his name,
Moody.
Mr. Moody had said, it's just 2 coats of crack rocks. They crack the rocks in small particles, and they put 1 course of that tar down first, put the first level of the rocks, then put another coat and another level of rock for the final. That kind of tensile strength is not enough for the weights of those big, heavy 20 and 30 and 40-ton containers that they have running on that road. It looks nice. The road, it looks nice, but it's built for small vehicles, not for these big trucks with sugar loaded with sugar, or loaded with petroleum, or loaded with cement, or loaded with steel. I mean, these things, that kind of road was not built for the kind of vehicle that they have running on it. And the Prime Minister will get out there and say, oh, well, the road is a nice new road now, and we can have all these big trucks use the road instead of, having to go all the way to Belmopan and go around the Hummingbird Highway. They can just cut through the short new road, and all they're doing is breaking up the stuff because there's no tensile
Mr.
strength.
Brackett and Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, even the Baymen was smarter than them because majority of the streets in Belize had mahogany at the bottom because it was soft. And my good cousin know that when they decide to fix some of those streets, when they dig up big mahogany trees,
That
the
was serving
lumber
to
from it
stabilize the
was
road
below the surface
because the
so
roads
that it
at
don't
that time,
sink.
those roads were being built on
It was
swamps.
used right.
As while you're on that, while you're on the play that clip there, Greg, right? Leonard and Greg, I have been traversing that coastal road from 19 pretty much on a regular basis from 1995, right? I have been traversing that.
You
I
never
have
had that kind of
witnessed
flooding.
I have witnessed three major flood where I was bogged in for 7 days at one point. One was 3 and one was 7.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot go forward nor backward on the coastal road. Now, I'm talking, I don't know where Mr. Moody is living and all that. They brought the best engineers. We had the best local engineers. We have the best minds when the coastal road, when Emer Hernandez got that contract from
Contract.
his family, Mr. Vega, in the
Mm-hmm.
UDP. Now, I'll go back now to the last flood. I'm not going to, the last one,
Mr. Chairman, before you go there, quickly, remember now, the PUP are claiming that they save a lot of money since they came into office on that road. Okay, so add that too.
okay,
Go ahead.
right?
I was just saying to
So
add that in because
I'm just
very
talking,
critical.
we are not
Critical.
we are not the best minds. We are not the best engineers that they claim, and not to mention the amount of money they
Mm-hmm.
pay these consultancies, these engineers that came from, right? I know I'm getting
Foreign.
to that. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting to that. So any fool would say that who know the coastal road know exactly where high,
No.
where the
Mm-hmm.
flood never there. On
Mm-hmm.
this last big flood, where on the highest point, the flood was 10 feet. 10 feet. I measured it
Mm-hmm.
above the highest point. But what they did, they ignored, they graded. Now, what do you think you should have done? In the lower part, what they done? They graded. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the type of material they use. But remember, the best minds they use, and I say, man, this area was always flooded. Don't you think that we should elevate?
Elevate and put some culverts
Huh?
with wide
Proper
frames.
drainage,
Exactly.
which the coastal road does not have, and which the best thinkers that they brought into the country and the best engineers that we have in this country fail. But the ribbon captain and who made the money and who made
Mr.
all the perks and who get all the money, and they rode
They're
away in
long
the
gone.
sunset, and
They're
we
long gone.
have been talking about the next flood
They're
and
gonna
we
have to
not get
find the
it
money.
yet.
They're
My
gonna need to find the
people,
money to come back and redo it now.
we not get flooded yet.
It's
That I just
crumbling.
want to wash over and see what that man is blaming all the vegetation and all that bull crap. That is cotton. Bull crap. Right? Because that area there that he's talking about was flooded out on several occasions. right? So it didn't cause by that. They just fail because of fast bucks, just like the roundabouts, quick money,
They didn't plan
quick.
adequately, Mr. Wade. They didn't
Exactly.
plan adequately. And if you don't
So
plan
my
adequately,
people, so
you,
my
Mr.
people,
you end up
Chairman,
failing.
so my
Mr.
people,
Chairman,
the
there was
country.
no vegetation on the bridge. There was there was no vegetation on the bridge where they put the plywood. Big
There
million
you go.
dollars project
I don't know where
with best
these
engineers.
young men. I don't know where these young men came from. These so-called engineers. I don't know where they come from, right? But like I say, any fool who knows this country, who traversed the coastal road, right, know that they had failed, and we were just waiting for the next flood to come. Then we will see the aftermath, and
But it's
then
going to
we'll see.
cost the money that's going to cost to do those repairs not adequately, because they could repair it and make it go back to what it used to look like before the flood happened just now. You know?
You know, finish it
But
though.
that's not going to help. They have to do corrective measures. So
In
the money
yeah, you
that is
know,
going to cost for the corrective measures before they can get it back to what it used to look like, that corrective measures is going to cost them more money than when they saved
my
initially.
people, we will back to square one when we get the next flood. We'll back to square one, right? And it's beginning to show. But guys,
Mr. Weir, you could see big pieces of the black tar all over the place. You know, that the water wash underneath it and throw it out
exactly,
any which way.
exactly.
All because the stuff is broken up, like I said, because of those big heavy trucks that are running over
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
There's no
yeah,
tensile strength to deal with the stresses
yeah.
of the weight of those vehicles that are running up there.
Waste of the
So it
taxpayers'
mashes,
money.
it crushes it up.
Waste of the
I don't know.
taxpayers' money, guys. Right? Waste because of poor planning
And then the road was too narrow.
and
And then you go
right.
up some hills towards the well, not even those weren't hills. They were man-made burrs.
Man, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But some of the
in order to
politician
get to
got
the top of the bridge.
some of the politician got you know their hand buttered.
The bad part
Continue
is
to
they
do
refuse to take free advice, good
right.
advice,
Yeah,
and they go and pay for your advice
but
and help. And later on, everybody wash their hand, which is what's happening right now. Everybody's running for cover.
we are about out of time. We are
So
at 1:36.
that's my closing,
Leonard,
Mr. Chairman. That's my closing.
so I say this
You
to
and Greg
say
could take
that.
the next 4 minutes then.
Thank you. I say this
You and
to
Greg
say,
take 2
it's
minutes.
always a pleasure, Greg, and I'm glad that you brought up those videos. And I say this to my diaspora, don't get taken again, please. Leonard, whoever had didn't
Uh,
know
bef-
read the
Mr.
Constitution.
Wyatt, before we go, there was there's a few
Please go ahead and
comments,
and
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 then there's
and
one of them from Gilbert Belial. I guess he was an apologist or somebody trying to hoodwink the process. Unfortunately,
Gilbert Belied. Okay,
this is
go
what the
ahead.
man
Let's
said.
hear from.
He says, bro, or brother, you have some flawed systems in place. The quicker we can get to becoming a republic, the better this will begin. This will bring into play the the ability for changes in government. He must be talking about a revolution,
My brother.
because for us to be worrying about becoming a republic in order to have these matters solved is only going to get worse
My
after we become a
brother,
republic.
your wishes might come true. That's all I can say. And then
Oh
I hope
man.
we all live to see the end result. No, guys. I hope we all live to see the end result.
I could give him, man. I could give him, man. I could give him Sabilal while he pat on the back for say at least have the interest to make a comment, no?
Yes, sir.
But
Thank
I
you.
think the
Thank you,
comment
sir.
was laden with.
Jermaine, yeah. Thank you, my
You're
brother.
too
Thank
far ahead
you.
of that, Mr. Bilal. Sorry about
Thank
that,
you.
sir.
But I like to say this to my diaspora. I think it's time that you open your eyes and stop being taken for a fool, right? Rubina Forte says good night. Gilbert, bro, okay, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
You know, Gregory mentioned, their mission over there, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, as a Belizean, you are entitled to a piece of land, a piece of the jewel, a piece of the pie. But, you know, hey, I urge you, those who are not politically inclined, those who are not eye to eye with a UDP system or eye to eye with a PUP system, those that are independent thinkers, that does not like what goes on in this country politically and want to have a voice, don't be afraid. Come home, pan Belizean American. Come home and put your name on the ballot. Put your name on the ballot. Show them, right? I will, right? Why are these people so afraid to have us to want us to participate?
They don't want to be held accountable.
Why? Right? I will only be up there telling them the wrongs that they have done and hold them accountable and tell them about the lies that they've been telling the nation, telling about the corrupted system that they are a part of.
They only want to deal with just a man and just a woman.
And I would only be up there telling them that they should be held accountable for their deeds. On that note, Belizeans at home and abroad, it's always a pleasure. My diasporan, please come home and put your name on the ballot box. Belize need you now. Your country need you now. Right? Don't wait. Mention Mr. Belal about a republic. Most of us Belizean, we don't want to go there. So come home. Put your name down on the ballot box. Time for this two-party system that has held us hostage, that has held us poor and dependent
Mr. Chairman,
for too long, need to
Mr.
go.
Chairman, for Mr. Belial, I don't know if he realized that born Belizeans no more have majority control of the country, and that if and when Belize becomes a real republic, all semblance of black Creole Belizeans particularly will be sunk to the bottom of the barrel, like is the case in all other Central American republics. Okay? They will
And
have no voice, no say, no constitutional guarantees, because the present constitutional guarantees will be wiped away,
thank
eviscerated.
you. Thank you. And
So
for Belizeans at home that are independent, and our Belizean American at home that are independent, put your name up on the ballot box on the next general election. Don't be afraid. Put your name up. I challenge you. I challenge you now to our Belizean Affairs show number 157. Put your name up on the ballot box on the next general election. On that note, Gregory, it's always a pleasure.
they have
Leonard,
to be living in the country a year before they could succeed, Mr. Wade, because they also have that as a stipulation
see. So I just hope that they,
in the
they meet
Representation of the People's Act.
they meet all
There's
that
a requirement there
requirements,
for a
right?
minimum of 1 year stay. But anyhow, we'll
Exactly.
deal with some of those other matters maybe on
Yes,
Friday
no
or some
yeah.
other occasion.
It's always a
Nice
pleasure,
show.
Greg, and thanks for the input. And Leonard, it's
It
always
went
a
over a little
pleasure.
bit, but it was worth it. I do believe
Yes.
it was worth it. We dealt with a
Thank
lot
you
of
very
substantive
much.
matters.
And to our viewers and listeners, thanks always for Belize and beyond. Thank you for supporting us and watching our show. Because trust me, some of us love us. Some of the Belizean at home and abroad love us, guys.
They do.
But some hate us too, right? They don't like how we talk. We too open. We educate the public where we should not they do.
We need to be respecter of persons and personalities. And because we
Exactly.
are no respecter of persons,
But
it's a badge that
to
we
each
carry.
his
But
own, we welcome the support. Greg, take it away, my brother.
thank you very much, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Wade.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir, and good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad.